And we start with breaking news right now of a fire burning in the Otay Mesa West area.
Yeah, let's get to Renee Nelson, who's in the 10 News Live Center with the latest on this. And we have a couple of engine companies headed there now, Renee?
Yeah, I believe that we do. And as you can see here, quite a bit of smoke in the area. This is near Palm Avenue, near 3300 Palm Avenue. That is in the Otay Mesa West area. And this call just came in just a little bit ago. So firefighters trying to get an early jump on this with some record heat out there for sure.
And we've also been told this, firefighters at least estimating right now a slow rate of spread. Of course, today being one of the worst days we could have a fire. So it looks like the response is swift as they try to get water on this to put an end to it quickly before it gets out of control.
Well, the slow rate of spread is certainly something that we hope will hold, and they can get there and get a handle on it, because of course we're talking about dangerous fire conditions. We've been talking about that the last few days. In fact, we're going to keep our eyes on this. Let's take a moment to talk about the weather today, especially the conditions specifically in this area.
Yeah, meteorologist Megan Perry now joins us as we take a look at this is a bad day for fire, obviously.
Yeah,
Megan.
Today would have been worse, but today is obviously not ideal. In fact, I was just looking, it's 96 degrees in that area, humidity only 9%, so very, very dry, but the winds only gusting to about 8 miles per hour, so it's not very windy there, so we do have that in our favor. But yes, it could absolutely be better. Kearney Mesa flirting with 100 right now, Oceanside and San Diego 95 degrees right now, a very hot day. In fact, San Diego's record for today is 95, so we've tied that. I mean, I believe we did that yesterday too. We tied the record right when we went on air. We are going to be seeing more record heat today. In fact, Chula Vista could set a second day in a row with record heat. 98 is what I'm forecasting. The record is 93. Other areas that could set records, because there's more than just fit on this list: Ramona, Alpine, Carlsbad, Chula Vista, El Cajon, Escondido, La Mesa, Oceanside, Poway, and Vista. And in fact, guys, yesterday Miramar hit 108. That was the hottest temperature recorded across the entire nation. That red flag warning continues until 6 o'clock tonight. Not as windy today as it was. Gusts 30 to 45 miles per hour rather than 50 to 60 miles per hour like we were seeing yesterday, but still very dry and very, very hot. That excessive heat warning for the coast and valleys was extended, but temperatures are about 4 to 10 degrees cooler than yesterday, but hey, still 15 to about 22 degrees above normal. I am tracking a major drop in temperatures that arrives tomorrow with improving conditions the rest of the week when I come back with your full forecast.
That
Jason?
sounds good. Yeah, Megan, thank you very much. So we are in for another sweltering day, as Megan said, and this heat is making a lot of people anxious, especially parents who are scrambling to really help their kids out who are being let out of school early because of the heat. Others are also concerned about how quickly a fire could start in these hot and dry and windy conditions. A Tierra Santa woman is on a mission to stop people from being careless, like, for example, throwing out a cigarette butt.
That I pulled up next to her and I said, "Can you please not throw your cigarette out? There's fires everywhere." And she looked at me with a really rude look and just sped off.
The National Park Service says more than 90% of wildfires are caused by humans. Discarded cigarettes and unattended campfires are among the leading causes.
If you want to keep track of the conditions today where you live and get up-to-the-minute weather updates, be sure to download our 10 News app. You can get that free if you don't have it already. It's in the App Store. Renee?
Yeah, this is just in right now. The brother of Las Vegas shooter Stephen Paddock arrested on suspicion of possessing child porn. This is Bruce Paddock right here. We're seeing our first picture of him, and he was taken into custody this morning. That was in North Hollywood. Now, the Paddock brother is not considered a suspect in the Las Vegas shooting. The child pornography charges actually predate that shooting, and this is also not the same brother that spoke to the media after Stephen Paddock opened fire from the 32nd floor of the Mandalay Bay Casino Hotel and Tower. 58 people, of course, were killed there, hundreds more wounded at that October 1st Harvest Festival there in the Live Center. Jason, Virginia.
All right, thank you, Renee. Now an update to breaking news near Old Town. All lanes are now back open after a pedestrian was hit and killed on the 8. Happened just before 5:30 this morning on the westbound 8 at the Taylor Street exit. The driver stayed on the scene to talk to police. Right now, we are working to find out the identity of the person hit.
Developing story, a man armed with a handgun cleaned out the cash register at an East County gas station, and police say the man was wearing some kind of surgical mask right over his face when he stormed into that Arco on Massachusetts Avenue in La Mesa. Now, neighbors who live nearby say that this gas station has been hit several times.
We saw somebody running through the Rite Aid parking lot in the blue search right. I hope they find him, because it always happens, and I feel like if they actually catch somebody or do something about it, it would possibly stop people from doing it.
Employees say they're now considering closing the doors at 9 p.m. and only doing business through the window to be safe. Police are still searching for that man.
Hey, this is just into the 10 News Live Center. Hundreds without power right now in Santa Isabel. That is near Julian. SDG&E is working on this problem right now that's affecting 891 customers during, of course, a major heat wave right now. Just speaking to Megan, 96 degrees out there and very light winds, super dry. SDG&E says that power should be restored about 2:30 this afternoon. No word yet on what caused that outage. In the Live Center, Virginia.
All right, thank you, Renee. Justin, the promise of a cleaner San Diego appears to be ahead of schedule.
And that's the word now from city leaders regarding the landmark Climate Action Plan. And 10 News anchor Jim Patton joins us live from the Choyas Operations Yard. And Jim, this is quite the goal.
Oh man, absolutely. The city entered into this 2 years ago with the goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions by 50% by 2035. And according to the mayor today, the city is not only on track to do that, but ahead of schedule.
So far, we have cut emissions by 19.3%. And that means we've seen a 2% reduction from a year ago.
Now, with the backdrop of natural gas trash trucks and fuel-efficient vehicles, San Diego Mayor Kevin Faulconer says that the city's Climate Action Plan has already achieved a number of benchmarks, reducing, as you heard, greenhouse gas emissions by 19.3%, something credited to more fuel-efficient and cleaner vehicles. Also notable, San Diegans have reduced their residential energy use by 18% since 2010. Now, the reasons for that aren't as clear, but likely related to more energy-efficient home appliances and televisions and the desire just to keep that energy bill lower. The Climate Action Plan is actually a legally binding document, and that means it requires a report every year to update how it's doing. Here's a copy of that report here. We have linked this to 10news.com. Just click on the red TV button if you'd like to check it out. It's only a few pages long, and as you take a look at it, you'll see it has some very easy to read graphics in terms of how we're doing in terms of reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. Reporting live at a very hot Choyas View, Jim Patton, 10 News.
All right, Jim, thank you very much. So a health alert for you right now. The county is extending the emergency declaration over the hepatitis A outbreak. It was first declared back on September 1st, and the county supervisors need to renew it every 2 weeks, so they renewed it. So far, the virus has killed 19 people and gotten more than 500 sick. The county has spent $4 million battling the outbreak.
Happening right now, the trial for the man accused of the hit and run that badly hurt this Oceanside police officer. That trial is now underway. You may recall that Officer Brad Hunter was run down back in June. That's him being wheeled away to the hospital. 10 News is inside the courtroom right now. 10 News reporter Mimi Alcala will update us here in just a little bit as soon as she finds out more. Meanwhile, President Trump is keeping the war of words with two Republican senators going today through Twitter. At the same time, the GOP is grappling with what the infighting could mean for tax reform. ABC's Lana Zach has the latest from Washington.
Republican Senator Jeff Flake has declared his independence of the Trump administration.
I rise today to say enough.
After an impassioned speech on the Senate floor Tuesday,
we must stop pretending that the degradation of our politics and the conduct of some in our executive branch are normal.
He is predicting today that more Republicans may stand up to President Trump.
You know, a lot of my colleagues have spoken out, and I think a lot more will.
But in a series of tweets today, the president disagrees, writing Jeff Flake with an 18% approval rating in Arizona said, "A lot of my colleagues have spoken out. Really? They just gave me a standing O." But it's not just Flake. Senator Bob Corker has also been indicting President Trump, who he supported in the election. He blamed him for the debasement of the nation and says he failed to rise to the occasion as president.
Do you think he's a role model to children in the United States?
No. The constant non-truth telling, the name calling, the things like, I think the debasement of our nation will be what he'll be remembered most for.
The unbridled critiques from within the GOP comes at a crucial time for the president, who is trying to woo senators to support his tax plan. But Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell thinks that the inter-party politics won't derail the Republican agenda.
If there's anything that unifies Republicans, it's tax reform.
President Trump is largely dismissing the critiques of those Republican senators, saying that they couldn't get elected and tweeting that they are now acting hurt and wounded. Lana Zach, ABC News, Washington.